everyone. Welcome to the Speakin podcast. I am Ananya from Speakin, Asia's largest digital learning platform for professional growth through one on one coaching and group learning sessions. In today's episode, we have a distinguished leader from Philippines who will share their personal corporate journey, insight on leadership, and a lot more. Our guest today is Iman Salazar. Iman drives strategic human capital management at SNR, enhancing growth and business value through innovative people programs. He began his HR career at Ayala Corporation in 1999 and has since held significant roles at JG Summit, San Miguel, ABS CBN, Conception Industrial, Accenture, TELUS, MSD, and AG&P. A prolific speaker, Iman specializes in people strategy, human capital management, multi generation workforce management, organization and talent management, strategic rewards, labor relations, employee engagement, and change management. In 2019, he was honored as one of the 101 global HR heroes by World CSR and World Sustainability and recognized as one of the Philippines' most talented HR leaders. In 2021, he was the only Filipino featured in HRD Asia's magazine, HR's Hot List, and received global recognition as one of the most iconic HR leaders from the World HR Congress and one of the HR Icons 2024. With 25 years of HR experience, Iman excels in managing both Filipino conglomerates and multinational organizations, driving business results through a strong people agenda. He holds an AB in philosophy and HR development from San Beda College, graduating with top honors, and an MBA units from the Atino Graduate School of Business. He also completed a leadership course for Chief Human Resource Officers at Cornell University. So it truly is a pleasure to have you with us here today. Welcome to the Speaking Podcast.
Thank you for that, Ananya. Thank you for that. It's a long introduction, but you took time to read through my background. Thank you.
Um, so, can you please tell us a bit about your career journey and some of the key milestones that have shaped your professional path?
Okay, yeah, my career journey. So, come to think of it, Ananya, today is July 31, the end of July. So, probably this podcast will air sometime soon. But it's 2024, and I realize I'm celebrating my silver anniversary as an HR practitioner. I started working as an HR guy back in 1999. And I started from the ranks. I was HR assistant, imagine that. HR assistant. Everybody in HR probably started as an associate individual contributor, but I also trace my roots from working through the ranks as an HR assistant, handling recruitment, compensation, training, all those, shall we say, traditional HR functions to probably a different role now in terms of delivering business value through human resources. And so I've been around, you have probably noticed in my brief biography that I have worked for local conglomerates here in the Philippines and at the same time with multinationals, large pharmaceutical business process outsourcing, a telecom business, a construction business. So I've been in the HR circles a lot, and I have noted the transformation also of our own function, no, as a strategic partner of the businesses right now. So, what's my role? I think my role is to be a business leader with HR as a functional expertise. Um, HR leaders are involved in making critical decisions and implementing steps to ensure the long-term survival of the business. So I'm similarly situated with the rest of our leaders. It's just that in the management team, we have our own specialization. So I probably am the people person in the management team. But I have to really understand what's going on with our financials, with our business, and the directions we're taking to bring the company forward. So that is my role. That's what I do. In terms of academic preparation, I took up a bachelor's degree in HR in few units in masters, and I'm proud because I recently completed a special course for chief HR officers. So um, that has been my journey, Ananya. Um, really very exciting, very eventful, moving from one company to another, but bringing with me the experience I have accumulated through my years of HR work. As I said, happy silver anniversary to me this year. Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Truly is very inspiring and a lot to come your way. Moving forward, what core principles guide your leadership philosophy and how do you inspire your team to achieve excellence?
In terms of leadership, I'm really a John Maxwell fan. Um, having, an avid fan of his work, and I think a modern HR leader, a modern manager, will really take inspiration from his works. Most powerful of which are um, the 5 levels of leadership. So I can very much relate to that principle, and I use that in my coaching conversations with other leaders, and even in my own team, and even myself. I can very much relate to that. So HR is really oriented towards preserving um, the dignity of the human person at work. I think that's fundamental to my philosophy as an HR leader. I believe that everyone is endowed with the dignity and integrity and the humanness of the person, and as that person brings to the corporate world his experiences and his personality and his um, personal identity, then you have to respect that. And I say respect with emphasis. I think that is a very powerful uh, virtue that will guide organizations, guide human interactions, and preserve um, the morality and ethics of people in business. So I'm probably going somewhere there, but for me, leadership, there's really a body of knowledge and inspiration that can be derived from my favorite authors, Jan Maxwell, um, in Jim Collins, in a series of works that really, exemplifies the level 5 leadership. They call it the same, but it meant differently. But come to think of it, it's really is about fulfilling your highest calling as a leader. Level 5 leadership in Maxwell's and level 5 leadership in James. So I think that's how I will expand on that particular um, topic.
Really inspiring, sir, to hear that from you. Moving forward, could you share a quote or mantra that inspires you and keeps you motivated?
Well, it's probably biblical. I'm a Christian, so um, a quote or a passage in um, the Bible, but also applied in real life, is the ability to seize the moment. There's a line there that says, "You will pass this world only once, and whatever good thing you can do to other human beings, then do it now, because you will never pass this world again." So that for me is a very inspiring, very powerful message. And as applied in my line of work as HR, I think that's also my inspiration to every day keep on doing the right thing. Every day maximizing that opportunity given to you to improve the lives of other people. So that for me is very powerful. I am an HR leader, and part of my my role, my duty is to bring out the best in others and make them realize as well that you can be your best self at work, personal life, and probably in your social circles in the community. So I think that's a a guide that inspired me to keep on challenging myself, keep on challenging my teams, my leadership team members to push forward and achieve more for the company and for their own careers as well. Well, another recent line that I came across is actually from Carl Jung. It says, "Thinking is difficult, so people judge." So that's kind of funny, but it has a deeper meaning, right? It's really not just about people opting to take the being judgmental or being subjective in dealing with others. So for me, it sends a message, right? So you have to really be objective in HR, of course, as applied. You cannot always rely on your biases. Of course, it helps sometimes, right? It helps to have that intuition. However, you have to take through the process. We always say, trust the process. That's true in agile methodology, that's true in HR, that's true in management, and even the sciences, I think. Trust the process. And, I don't claim to be an expert in agile methodology, but I think that thinking helps. Before you jump into conclusions, do that rigor of work necessary to arrive at um, facts and principles. So that's what HR is and does, right? So we are not just making ourselves rely on our biases and our inclinations, but really having a scientific approach to problems at work and in organizations. So yeah, might be too much there, but I think those are some of the things I can share. And then, yeah.
Truly very beautiful quote, sir, and very inspiring at the same time. Could you discuss a significant challenge you faced in your career and how did you overcome it?
Okay, that's a very important question and a very personal one, right? So for me, organizations will experience their own challenges depending on their level of maturity, and not the level of maturity referring not just as a physical maturity, but of an organizational maturity. Some companies have advanced to that highest level of organizational maturity wherein they have achieved um, superior business results because their process, people, technology systems are so well um, organized that it is the competitive advantage of an organization. So, talk about what are my challenges. Different companies I've worked for, they are in different levels of maturity. Culture is a very powerful force in driving performance and also destroying organizations. So if not understood well and if not directed well, culture can also be um, liability for organizations. But we want to make culture as an asset. We want to make culture as an enabler of the organization. So what does it have to do with my challenges? So when you're faced with a different culture, not aligned to the organizational purpose, we have not determined the soul of the organization, then I think it's very challenging for even for HR to align its HR programs to what the business really wants, right? If we are a company for profit, then profit is the most important thing. But if we are a non-governmental organization, I don't think it matters much, right? So um, you have to align with the organizational purpose. And the challenge for HR at times, right, is that the organization is not aligned to what it wants to achieve. So I also experienced that, and um, while of course it is part of the reality of organization for HR, we have to understand how to really navigate through these difficult situations. For example, the company is a for-profit organization, but then we have to make sure that our people programs are aligned to our social and governance agenda, right? So it's not just about the money we bring in, but also how we contribute to the society and how our employees are able to achieve their career aspirations. I think that is a delicate balancing. So those challenges can be better navigated through having a solid foundation in terms of your HR principles. I think there are some truths in this job. There are two truths in this job. One, people still is the most important resource of the organization. Number two, the most difficult to manage resource is still people, right? So with these two philosophies, these two assumptions, you will have to accept the fact that it is HR is hard. HR is not an easy function to absorb and to fully be responsible for. It's not as if you're just there for the party or English majors not knowing what to do in their careers, no? But HR really are those people who have embraced the responsibility to be the champion of the people and of the business as well. And again, it's about balance, right? As I mentioned. So that's the challenge. I think a lot of HR leaders are also facing the challenge. Aside from the fact that in the new world of work, you experience challenges of the technology, of the new ways of working, the future of work, as they say. These are new realities of the job we do. But it will not change the fact that those two things I mentioned are immutable, and that for me will still be the challenge for any HR to survive and to thrive, in fact, as a leader for the organization, for the people. How's that?
Really good. So, very interesting take on how HR is also developing the challenges and other core peoples to stay at the center of every organization. Um, right, so could you share who has been the most influential person in your career, lastly, and what valuable lesson did you learn from them?
Okay, that's an easy one, right? You just go back to your time, my time in my career, when I really identified with another HR leader. And that for me is my boss for 5, 7 years. So she is a lady. She actually molded the way I, frame my HR principles. We have worked together in some very critical projects in the past, and some of her principles really rubbed off on me as an HR practitioner. She's very practical in her approach. She's a natural people person. And while I know that I am not, I am more of an introvert. I know myself to be at the introvert spectrum. She was able to show me uh, how to be reasonable, how to be objective, how to manage the uh, complications, the challenges at work, and uh, I really learned a lot from her during our time together, as I reported to her for some time. So she retired now. We always get in touch. Social media is very convenient for us to catch up, and I still cherish those moments with her working together. So she's an HR person, and she was, in one way or form, a mother to me in my HR career. I will always be proud to say that I grew up under her tutelage, under her school of HR. Nadia.
Really great, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights and experiences with us today. It was a pleasure having you on the Speaking podcast. To our listeners, thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with us for more inspiring conversations with Asia's top leaders. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on our social media platforms. Thank you.